Okay, y'all, so this is what's on the menu today. These big, big chocolate chip pecan cookies with this little whiskey in them. Y'all, these are some kind of delicious. So let's get on over here on this counter and get these big hokey cookies together so we can be eating these in no time. And don't forget to have your milk ready. All right, see you over there on the counter. Okay, y'all, welcome on over here on this counter. So let's get on into these cookies, because the sooner we get into them, the sooner we're going to be eating them. Okay, now, in this bowl, I have a half cup of butter, or, 1 stick of butter. And this butter is salted at room temperature, as you can see. Okay? Now, to this butter, I want to go ahead and add my sugar. I'm doing a half cup of white sugar. And that white sugar is going to give these cookies their sweetness. And then I'm going to put in there a whole cup of brown sugar that's packed down, you see. And what I want to do is kind of blend this together, kind of fluff it up, and as you can see, I'm using a fork to do this, because when I do my cookies, I'm looking for this big, big fluffy cookie, and I think it should be rustic. So that's why I choose to not use my mixer when I'm doing this. Everything with the cookie is done with the fork. So let's get this all combined together, and then we'll move on to the next ingredient. Okay, so this is combined and pretty fluffy here. And I'll tell you that that butter is salted butter, so you'll see why I kind of do that in just a minute. Now, to this I'm going to add my 2 eggs. Just going to put them right on in there. All right. And move that around a little bit. Alright, now I want to go ahead and put my alcohol in here. So basically we're just doing all of our wet ingredients, because it's going to be some booze in here. Now your substitute for this whiskey, I'm doing 2 teaspoons. So your substitute for the whiskey is 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. When I'm using the alcohol, I increase it just a little bit because I want that taste to come through. But if you're using vanilla, you can bring it down just a little bit, because vanilla has that strong vanilla taste in it, and it kind of don't need the increase of the alcohol in there. Okay? So now you see this is all kind of fluffy like we want it. And now we're going to move on to our dry ingredients there, okay? Okay, so this is combined well. So we're going to get that wet mixture out of the way, and we're going to bring our dry mixture to the front now. Now in this bowl, I have sifted 2 1/4 cups of flour. And I sifted it because I want to give this give these cookies the opportunity to have as much rise as possible. So to this, I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that's why I used my salted butter, because I'm decreasing the amount of salt. Now if you're using unsalted butter, use 1 teaspoon of salt. So there my 1/2 teaspoon of salt is. And now I'm going to use my baking soda, which is also going to help give this cookie the rise that it needs. And I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of this baking soda, okay? Get 1 teaspoon. Lord, I'm almost out of this baking soda. Oh, it's down there. Okay, so there's a good teaspoon of baking soda. A little bit more. Okay, yeah, that's my teaspoon of baking soda. All right, so now I'm going to kind of move that together a little bit. And when you're going through the sifting process, you can put the baking soda and salt in there if you want, but I just kind of choose to do it this way. So now I got that together, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this into my wet mixture. All right, and then what we're gonna do is bring that together. And remember I said I'm using my fork for everything. Some people put theirs in a mixer, but I want a rustic cookie, you know. I think a cookie should be rustic. Well, that's just me now. All right, so we're gonna get this all incorporated there. And then we'll be ready for the fun stuff, what you want to put in your cookie. And me, y'all, I try to put everything in there but the kitchen sink. Cause I don't make cookies often. I really don't. I'm more of the cake person. But when I do decide I want a cookie, I want a cookie. I want a big cookie, and I want a chunk full of stuff. So let me go ahead and get this together, and then y'all will be ready for the other ingredients there. Okay, now this is the basics of our cookie dough right here. Awesome, right? Okay, now you can add pretty much any additives to these cookies that you want. Some people want M&M's, some peanuts, or any of those kind of things. But what I love is chocolate chip, and I love pecans. Okay, so I'm gonna add to this a half cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips there, and I love the nuts in there. So I kind of did a rustic chop, if you will rather, on my pecans here. You see that? A real rustic chop. Big chunks there. Big chunks, you see. See how large some of these chunks are? Yeah. So I did a rustic chop there on my pecans. And I'm going to go ahead and just fold all of this into my cookies. And these additives that you are putting in there, this is going to help this big cookie hold up, you know. Okay? So just going to go on and fold that in. And you know what folding it in, it's just like gradually incorporating it in there. Pressing it in there, you know. Not whipping, not beating, but a gentle press in. And y'all, that's pretty much our cookie. And we're gonna move on to now putting them onto the sheet and getting them in the oven. And I don't think I said it already, but my oven is already warming at 325. And I don't usually turn my oven on time I start putting my ingredients in the bowl. I usually get the oven on halfway because I just don't like my kitchen hot when I'm in there trying to cook. But okay, so this mixture is ready. So what I want to do now is get my scoopers ready. Okay, I kind of gauge my first cookie with the scoop, and then I just kind of eyeball it from there. Now look at the difference in my scoop sizes. This is my melon scooper right here, and this is my ice cream scooper. Since I want big, chunky cookies, which I'll probably get about 8, maybe 9 or 10 out of this mixture. It varies from time to time when I'm making it. It's just the feel that I'm in. But anyway, I'm gonna use my ice cream scooper here to get it out of there. And what I do is I'm gonna spray just a little bit of this Pam on the front and the back and rub it so that my dough will release easily from this scoop. So here I have my pan, and I don't grease my cookie sheet. So I'm gonna come here, and y'all, that's about the scoop I want for these big cookies. And some people line their pan with a parchment paper. I don't, because these cookies are so big. They're so big that I want that crunch under the bottom, and the parchment paper, to me, it absorbs some of the heat and makes the cookies not as crunchy as I want them on the bottom. So that's why I choose, this is my choice, to not line my cookie sheet with parchment paper. So there, see, they're heaving scoops. And you want to keep these big cookies like heaving like so that when they cook down, that they will cook into a larger cookie because they'll have more time to flatten. Because if I were to press these down, they're going to spread, because that's what that white sugar helps the cookie do, is spread. And I don't want these big cookies to spread as much. So, yeah, but it's all on my finger there. So that's why I'm choosing to do them this way. And I'm leaving a few inches between them to give them some space to kind of melt down there. And I'll just continue to do this until I have 6 cookies on this sheet. Okay, y'all, so the first 6 cookies are ready to go into the oven at 325. And remember, I'm keeping the temperature lower because I want the cookies to bake slower. If you were making them smaller for those little small hands, you know, little kiddos, which I don't have any small ones anymore. But if you were making them smaller, they would be smaller balls, and you could bake it at 350 to get a little quick cook on there. But these are gonna bake a little slower at 325 in the oven. They're gonna bake for 10 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm gonna turn my pan or rotate it in the oven so that they can bake evenly, okay? So we'll see you when these are coming out of the oven. There they are, y'all, doing well and out of the oven. Now remember, we're gonna let these sit up for a while. So we're gonna let them sit on here for about a minute or so. Then we're gonna get them off of this rack and put them onto a cooling rack, and then let them sit completely. And I let them sit for about 30 minutes before I start eating them. Unless you want them real warm and soft like that, you can go ahead after about 5 minutes. But I like that little crunch on the bottom of about 15 minutes. So let's do that and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so we got that big old cookie done, y'all, and y'all know what I'm ready to do. I'm ready to eat it. I'm feeling like the cookie monster up in here. So look, what I want you all to do is see the size of this big cookie. Still got a little ice cream on top because I'm ready to really eat it. It's that kind of cookie. It's like all the way a dessert. So look how big. I have pretty large hands, I will tell you. So look at this cookie in my hand. It pretty much takes up my hand. Not like the smaller cookies, which are more like the palm of your hand. But you know what? I'm gonna get on into this cooking. I wanna thank you all for letting me be part of the peak to your day. And look, and it's crunchy too, I tell you that. And measuring it, it's about this big around. So imagine a cookie the size of your face, honey. That's what you're gonna be eating here today. And the little whiskey in the background is very, very nice. So I'm gonna get on into eating my cooking, and I want y'all to get on into having a good day. Let me eat a little bit of this ice cream first, you know. Love a good vanilla ice cream there. I'm gonna take this crunch, yeah. One more time, because y'all know when I'm eating something good, I always like to go back one more time, but